Somehow the go live button didn't get pressed, Sam, and we have done the entire pre-race show without the crowd. So welcome everybody to the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. It's Murph and it's Sam, and we are here to bring you 175 laps of AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series action. Do want to thank everybody with their patience. For whatever reason, it didn't go live, Sam, and so we are here. We've done the pre-race show without an audience.
Everyone else needs to catch up. It's not that we fell behind. It's everyone else that needs to catch up.
With a minute left in practice, and you talked about this just a second ago, Sam. You said that you had to adjust your bifocals because there was a different name at the top of the leaderboard. Can you let everybody in?
I told you I readjusted them. I
was going to say the readjustment worked. Ryan O'Donohue, for the 1,314th week in a row, is at the top of the leaderboard. He's over Chuck Sweeting, James Hodgson, Jim Duda, and Kendale Paul, rounding out your top five. 20 trucks signed in for tonight's race here at New Hampshire. We've got about 30 seconds left in practice, Sam. Did want to let everybody know this track originally opened as a quarter-mile dirt in 1961. It was purchased by Bob Bear and reconfigured in 1989. It hosted Indy cars. And then I don't recall, 1993-ish? The Cup Series started coming here, and it was a huge hit. Track was purchased by the Speedway Motorsports conglomerate upon the death of Bob Bear. And the other interesting bit of trivia is that Bob Bear was the silent partner in the purchase of North Wilkesboro, Sam. It was Bruton Smith half of that, and Bob Bear the other half, and so he might not be very well liked down in North Carolina.
Well, I think bygones have become bygones down here in my neck of the woods. I'm only 40 minutes from North Wilkesboro, and the revitalization has done nothing but boost the spirits of racing fans all in this area. So they have done a great job revitalizing that racetrack, and now next year we get an official points race. It's not an all-star event. It is an actual points race next year. So that's really exciting.
There you go. We're going to ride on the roof of Colby Pierce as he heads out to turn his first qualification lap. You're going to touch about 150, 160 miles an hour down here into turn number one, and then you've got a choice of lanes. You see Colby, he went all the way up to the top, and then he cuts it down to the bottom on exit. He's trying to alleviate that loose condition that you talked about earlier, Sam, on the cold tires.
Yes, if in that first lap, it's really just a right. Some drivers can drive the truck under those conditions and be happy with it. But just you really want to get some heat in the tires so that you can get a good launch off the corner. And so by running the top, you're just scrubbing some more off of those tires and building up some heat. It just gives you more asphalt to do that. And the preferred faster line is going to be the second line up from the bottom. Usually you'll find that the faster speeds are there or diamonding the corner between the second and third lanes, but it looks like Colby Pierce is going to be doing the same thing, getting heat in the tires. And by the second, third, and even sometimes the fourth lap, some places qualify 4 laps. You can there he goes, around he goes on.
He made his 2 laps, Sam, but they were not very quick. Let's check in. There is Liam Anderson in the Krause Auto Body Machine. How about Jalen Story? And he's got a new sponsor on the side of that truck. Jalen Story, ACM Insurance Agency, on the side of the 44, and Jalen Story looking to give that hot rod a good ride tonight. There's Jalen, his first lap in the books. Good looking
livery.
Yeah, first lap in the books, 30.444 on the time. Jalen Story out to make his second lap.
That big cut down off of 2 there. He's trying to get the wheel straight so he doesn't get that wheel spin coming off the corner.
Yes, he is, and that's a huge key here at New Hampshire. There's a bump down there in 3 and 4 too. I don't know how the trucks ride over it or a stock car rides over it. I can tell you depending on your tire pressures, that can turn an Indy car loose down there in an absolute hurry. Matty Wagner has chimed in, and he claims to be a field filler sponsored by Scott's, although I read DeWalt Tools on the side of that Toyota P1 on the trunk lid as Matty Wagner goes out. And let's get inside of his machine. We'll ride shotgun with Matty Wags. How's that?
Oh yeah, you can't ride in his lap. He's way too active in that truck.
There he is. Now Wagner, he's doing a little bit of a different deal. He's going to go low. We saw Colby Pierce run high. Wagner went down to the bottom side on his coming to green lap, but he's going to go high here. This track does have PJ1 on it in the sim, does it not, Sam?
There's been some question about that, but I don't know that it does. That second lane, between the second lane and the third lane, there is talk within the sim that is the substance that you see why it's a little darker in that area. But you really, honestly, I just don't know that it's as effective as it was when if it was brand new, or if I don't know if they moderated that throughout the last couple of updates or not. In my opinion, it doesn't necessarily constitute that it would be faster in that area. I've seen drivers come in here and run the third lane and really tear it up. I've seen some can run the bottom. Greg Evans is a natural. He can make that bottom counter, that first lane that is offset from the rest of the racetrack. I've never seen anybody that can do it like he can do it. So just different strokes for different folks, I suppose.
This track does lend itself to multiple different lines, and that's something we're going to see. That's something we're going to see quite a bit of tonight is different drivers taking different lines. I've run the fence here. I've run the bottom. I can tell you there is a bit of a banking difference. If you get down into lane one,
yes,
there is a banking difference. And so you can really hurt yourself if you hit that transition incorrectly. But transitions or no transition, Sam, it's time to get a grid.
Ready to go racing.
It's time to get a grid and go racing.
Now, rumor has it that Greg Evans said that he would be available for an interview if you wanted to pull him up tonight. So.
Indeed. On the pole, Ryan O'Donohue, 124.263, 8 miles an hour. James Hodgson will start to his outside. Kendall Paul, Chuck Sweeting are going to roll from third and fourth. Billy Elwell, fine qualifying effort for Elwell. He will start fifth. Justin Kirby will be sixth. Matty Wagner, Jim Duda, they'll make up row four. And how about Lewis Hayes and John Hutchins rounding out your top 10. In 11th, Justin Osterman, David Dunwoody is 12th, Chad Dulabon 13th, Jalen Story 14th, Colby Pierce and Greg Evans are going to go from the 8th row. Evans is the beginner of the non-qualifiers. Ken Holland, Keith Graham, Jeremy Dunwoody, and Liam Anderson will round out your field. Again, 20 cars here tonight at the New Hampshire Speedway, the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, no longer the New Hampshire International Speedway, Sam. Got to be careful. They changed the name on us.
Sponsorship. What are you going to do?
I think that was a new owner, but be that as it may, there's your starting field from the drone. Good looking crew here. And there's your front row, James Hodgson on the outside, and he has brought the heat. He needs a good finish tonight. He's trying to race his way into the playoffs. And he's going to have to beat Jeremy Dunwoody, who is all the way at the back, did not take time in qualifying.
Yeah, and it looks like Liam Anderson, Greg Evans, Billy Elwell, David Dunwoody, all have been given EOL's end-of-line penalties for the start of this race. So those four will be headed to the very back behind everyone else.
There they go, and we're going to watch it from Mike Rigney's seat here on the main straightaway. He'd have a good seat like this, Sam, if Mike was here. This track is very similar if you've seen a race at Milwaukee. This track is almost a mirror of Milwaukee. It's just a hair more narrow, wouldn't you say, Sam?
Yeah, the straightaways are much more narrow. I don't know that the turns are quite as narrow, but I feel like the straightaways are just less of less room for error on these straightaways for some reason, except for coming off the corner. It just wants to. If you get loose off these corners, off 2 and 4, it just wants to throw the truck or the car right into the inside retaining wall. If you get loose coming off, it's really difficult to not hit that wall for some reason. It's almost like a magnet draws you in there.
Yeah, it can be. It most certainly can be. I was speaking more about the sharpness. Maybe I used the wrong word. Never mind that. Barney has the green flag in hand. Away we go at New Hampshire. And already the field filing down into turn number 1. Matty Wagner, great start on the bottom. And there's a truck way up on the top.
That's Keith Graham, all the way to the wall in the back of the field there. He gathers it up. Everyone's still headed in the right direction.
There was one more. They're 3 wide now, going through turns 3 and 4. I don't know if that's going to work. That's Hey Lewis Hayes on the bottom.
Hayes on the bottom.
Whoa, we've got a car around this. Greg Evans in the back. Caution is out. Greg Evans around in the deuce. I don't believe he hit anything, Sam.
Well, he's right there on the bottom, in that second lane, and gets loose and doesn't come at the racetrack. Again, what a great save, because I was telling you, it's so hard to save it from hitting that inside wall. And this truck, and we were talking about it in the pre-race before we found the broadcasting error, but these trucks on cold tires, that first lap is exceptionally loose on exit. A lot of drivers will set their brake bias early for a loose condition, and then that first lap is extremely loose. It gets better with every subsequent lap after that. But as we see here, a seasoned veteran like Greg Evans proves that very fact, that this truck is a little bit of a handful on cold tires. And so he gets loose, he's able to save it, and there's no harm to anyone else in this particular incident.
There is not. Greg Evans keeps it off the wall, and if his tires were cold before, they are warm now, Sam. A good spin will most assuredly warm those babies up for you. Do want to welcome everybody to the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series AdminBoxx 175. Just to kind of let you guys know, the stage breaks here are 55 and 110. The race distance, 175 laps. Do keep that in mind. We are in a battle for the final playoff spot, or for the final 8 in the playoffs. Really, the front 6 are pretty safe. David Dunwoody is 7th. Jeremy Dunwoody is 8th. James Hodgson is 7 points behind Jeremy Dunwoody and 15 behind David Dunwoody. So David Dunwoody is probably more or less okay as long as he keeps everything moving in the right direction. But the man on the mission to make the round of 8, that's James Hodgson in the forward-facing 88, and he is second right now to your leader, Ryan O'Donohue. Kendall Paul third, Chuck Sweeting fourth, Justin Kirby fifth. Do want to thank again everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash like on the video, ring the bell, and subscribe to P1 Broadcasting. Be notified of all future iRacing events, and we've got a bunch of them planned, Sam. We recently added the new Indy NASCAR. Have you seen any of those? Seen any of those broadcasts?
Sorry, you broke up on me a little bit there, Mark.
That's okay. We recently added the Indy Next series. Did you catch either of those races last week?
No, I did not. No, I was so drawn up and caught up in the Onyx race Monday night. The Retro 79, that was a tremendous race.
Yeah, I watched.
What a fantastic race that was.
I had to go run the Indy Next car, and but I caught some of that. That looked like it was just incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
So many lead changes and green flag pit stops, and if you've ever had a race with those L79s, man, those pit stops take forever. It's just so fun, but. Yeah, what a great show they put on. But I did not get to see the next IndyCar races, but I will do my best to catch those.
We're coming back to get a green flag here. Ryan O'Donohue mashes the loud pedal, and he's going to leave the battle for second between Kendall Paul and James Hodgson. I don't know that the outside line is as much of a detriment here as it is at some other places, Sam. It seems like
That's well
James
said.
Hodgson. It seems like James Hodgson able to hang tough out there, and it seems to me when you've got a loose truck or a loose automobile that having to pinch it down on the inside, especially on exit, might hurt you. It might be that the outside is preferred on the restarts here as we get back to green flag action. Everybody is more or less safe, although back here is where the action is. You've got Chad Dulabon. Is that let's see, that's Billy Elwell in the 67 leading Chad Dulabon, Jalen Story, Keith Graham, Liam Anderson is in that mix. You've got David Dunwoody and Greg Evans. Liam Anderson.
Liam Anderson can get loose off too, but he catches it. He saves it.
Yes, he most certainly did. Keith Graham gets right up to the back of Chad Dulabon, and Dulabon not in the familiar Jack Daniels colors this evening. He's got a sponsor and a paint on that truck. Good for him. Foxcrete on it, but I almost didn't recognize him, Sam.
He's incognito tonight.
Yes, he is. That's the action back in the pack.
All his wins have gave him enough exposure. I guess he's just trying to be low key tonight.
Yes, he is. Here we go. Battle for third and fourth. Chuck Sweeting on the bottom, Kendall Paul on the top, and these two have been going at it for a while. This nice wide angle is going to give us a chance to see pretty much the entire field, which is how we like it, Sam.
We'd like to see all the action that's going on here in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings series, and so how could you not want to watch the entire field if you can? So I know as broadcasters, it's probably one of the hardest things that we do is that we concentrate on one little segment of the field, and there's so much other things that are going on. It's just really hard to give credit to the entire field sometimes, but those camera angles help a lot when you can do that.
They most certainly do. Keith Graham is on the high side. That's Chad Dulabon on the bottom. And there's the deuce, Greg Evans. It's he's number 2 on the side of the car. It's number 16 in the scoring pylon. Never mind what number it is, though, Sam. He's coming to the front. He restarted here, shotgun on the field after the early loopsies.
Oh, we got one sideways in the back of the field. Oh, and he almost saved it. Now he's nosed out. Oh, and now he's collected another truck.
It's Jalen Story.
Caution yet.
It's Jalen Story, Jeremy Dunwoody, and Ken Holland involved.
How is that not a caution? How is that not a caution?
It happened in the back of the field. They kept everything moving in the right direction, Sam, and because they did, no caution flew.
Wow.
Let's watch the
Ken Holland was completely sideways and stopped on the racetrack, and now he has got eternity. He and Jalen Story and Jeremy Dunwoody.
So there's what happens. Jalen Story gets into the back of David Dunwoody. Dunwoody is able to save it. Jalen Story does not. Nowhere to go for Ken Holland or Jeremy Dunwoody. You're right. Ken Holland is stopped in the middle of the racing
sideways
surface.
And stopped.
Well, but it's a 30-second lap here, and so it's one of those that if they're able to get it moving again, they're not going to throw the yellow. No yellow flag thrown. Ryan O'Donohue leads it. Now those trucks, they are half a lap down here. The good news, if you want to call it good news, is that they're going to have a stage break here in another 40 laps. So if they can just keep going straight, stay on the lead lap, they'll be able to come in, get their trucks fixed, and continue to soldier on. O'Donohue leads it from Hodgson. Then Chuck Sweeting is having a battle with Kendall Paul for third.
And lurking behind them in his second race in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings series here is Justin Kirby. And Justin Kirby was trying to keep it quiet and just run some quiet laps in last week's event. I wonder if he's just going to kind of turn the loud pedal up a little bit more this week and see if he can be more of a presence in this particular race. But he's lurking behind that battle with Chuck Sweeting.
He most certainly is doing a heck of a job. And speaking of heck of a job, you've got John Hutchins and Say Hey Lewis Hayes. They're going after it for 8th and 9th. Right behind them, Jim Duda on the inside, Billy Elwell on the outside. And they have an interesting onlooker in the form of the deuce, Greg Evans, who has moved up to attempt to join that battle, Sam.
really not a lot for the Deuce to do right now, but just sit and wait. There's a lot of fighting going on ahead of him. It looks like Lewis Hayes and John Hutchins, they've been glued next to each other ever since qualifying. They just can't seem to get away from each other, and they are doing a fantastic job of racing side by side here.
Yes, they are. We're going to join this battle from the roof of Greg Evans. He runs along in 12th. He can see 8th. He also sees Jim Duda try to make it 3 wide on Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Billy Elwell is on the top. Elwell is going to back out of that. Is going to back out. Say Hey Lewis Hayes shoots ahead. Now Jim Duda is going to do battle with Elwell, and Greg Evans is saying, please, just don't run over each other. I'd like to get through here. Thank you very much.
Jim Duda is actually a race winner here in the series, and he and his son Jared Duda have raced several races with us. It's nice to see that Jim has come back and brought his truck back on the track with us.
Yeah, most certainly is. Good to see Jim. Always fun when it's a family affair, for certain. Sure, I have offered Sam to get my dad a rig. Offered to do the thing. I said, I'll do the thing. All you got to do is flip it on, right? All you got to do is turn on the power. Everything else will be done for you. And he won't do it. But I think that's awesome that father and son race together. There you see Greg Evans. He makes the move to the inside of Jim Duda, move Evans to 11th, and Duda back to 12th. We've got some change up at the front. Kendall Paul has now fallen back to 5th. Chuck Sweeting is 3rd, and Sweeting is moving in on the rear of James Hodgson for 2nd.
Now, Sweeting was not, he was not just a casual practicer in the session this evening. He was actually really fast in practice, and I'm not surprised to see that he's trying to get that very brightly colored livery back up to the front where he can race Ryan O'Donoghue. So he and James Hodgson may be able to put on quite a little bit of a show here, as we now see Justin Kirby is really working the tailgate of Kendall Paul on the inside.
There they go. Chuck Sweeting just fired his truck very near to the inside of James Hodgson. Hodgson might do well just to let Sweeting go. He's in a pretty plumb position. That's a lot of P's for you, Sam. But he's in a pretty plumb position. If he can finish 5th in this race and score stage points in all 3 stages, he will have done the job, survived, and advanced. Jeremy Dunwoody, the person he's pursuing, is 20th right now. And so James Hodgson just needs to keep running along, chugging along in the top 5, get it done. Although Jeremy Dunwoody he must be watching the broadcast. He's having a fight with Jalen Story. They're still digging back there, Sam. They've got 33 more laps. They've got 33 more laps until they get to the stage break. And as Liam Anderson Motorsports points out, keep fighting, right? Just keep fighting, keep digging.
Oh yeah, and they're still a half a lap ahead of the leader, so they're not in jeopardy of going a lap down yet. But they certainly don't want to waste any time lingering in the back in hopes that he does pass them. Now the field is really starting to separate out, and we're seeing some space get in between some of the trucks in the back. Chad Dulabon surprisingly is mired up all the way back in 13th position. Well, he's very secure in his position. There's nothing that he really should have to really, be overconfident about, or just trying to get out there and do something that he shouldn't have to do, because he's already secured into the playoffs.
He most certainly is. Do point out Chuck Sweeting has passed James Hodgson for the 2nd spot. Also, Greg Evans has moved past that wad of trucks that he was observing not too long ago. So Evans up to 8th, and the Deuce is now going to set sight on Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. Now those two have had their run-ins, Sam, and so do want to watch that. But we also want to watch Justin Kirby and his fight with Kendall Paul. That's Kirby 5th, and he's looking to move up into 4th spot.
Yeah, he's been working the tailgate of that 78. Ooh, loose on entry there for the 80, but he's been working on Kendall pretty heavily, and Kendall's just not going to give it up that soon. He's got a big run off the top side here, and they'll go into 3, door to door one more time. We'll see if Kirby drives it in deep this time. door to door.
Nope, still just
This is,
kind of.
I mean, really, I mean, Kendall Paul's not ready to give up a position, and Justin Kirby's going to race him for it.
No, and it shows you just about how equal the two lines are. If you got somebody that knows how to drive the top here, it can be very difficult to pass them. Now, I think Justin Kirby is there.
Watch
You
the
go.
crossover. Watch the crossover.
Yeah, so Kirby's got the move made.
Oh no, Kendall's just decided he's going to push him down the backstretch.
Yeah, he said, okay, you can have it. Meanwhile, here comes the deuce. He's going to dive to the bottom of Justin Osterman. Now, these two have had differences of opinion over real estate in the past, Sam, and so keep an eye on this battle. I was talking with Justin tonight. He's really trying to focus, in on making it to the end of races, not getting tore up, take what the racetrack gives him. We've been working with him a lot on the endurance side, and it kind of shows there. He realized Evans was faster, didn't really fight him too awful hard. I don't know that Justin Osterman lets him go in race 3 of the season as opposed to race 23, Sam.
There's no question that the style that Justin Osterman, style of driving that he's had, compared from the beginning of the year, is a bit different than what it is right now. And so I just think that it's smart to be more geared in your approach, like you were saying, to finish the races and put yourself in winning positions, spare the equipment, learn the long run. I mean, everything you said is spot on, and so it really has shown in Justin Osterman's racing over the past weeks. However, he still earns the moniker of Mr. Excitement, and we won't take that away from him.
No, we won't. We're going to go back to the battle between Kendall Paul and Justin Kirby, and they're putting on a clinic as to how to conduct racing here at New Hampshire. Now it's Kirby on the outside, Kendall Paul on the bottom. Greg Evans is likewise to the bottom of Matt Wagner, and I anticipate Evans will get that done here momentarily. And there you go. You can kind of see it in the background. Evans is going to come off of turn 2, and that'll move the deuce into the 6th spot. We were kind of back to that conversation, and do welcome Mike Rigney. He's asked why Greg Evans is driving a truck. I said I theorized maybe he had some furniture to haul, Sam.
No, well, it's funny because as soon as Evans, there's just been a verbal sparring match with Matt Wagner toward Greg Evans, and so as soon as Evans gets by him, of course, Matt Wagner has something to say. But in all seriousness, Wags has really got a good race going on tonight. It seems like he's just been the recipient of some misfortune in past races, and so I hope that he will continue this trend of being able to run in the top 10 tonight and have a good finish.
Yeah, most certainly so. Do want to thank everybody for joining in the broadcast tonight. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, so you can subscribe and be notified of all future P1 broadcasts. We've got a fun slate of races prepared for everybody. A fun slate of races. My goodness gracious, Sam. Prepared for her on deck for everybody for the next week. Tomorrow, we're going to have a special presentation of the IndyCar Open Top Split. It did not happen Monday night due to issues with the changeover and the update and the new build and so forth. Sometimes those first splits don't really fire off, and so that's kind of the risk you take when you do the first race of the week. And so we've moved that to the what's known as the Euro SOF, or the European Strength of Field. That'll take place Saturday at 2 p.m. Sunday, it's going to be the Dark Horse DW12 Series. That's 8 o'clock. Gary Godso on the call for that one. Monday night, we're going to have a triple header, Sam. Triple header. You ready for 3 open wheel races on P1 on a Monday night?
3 races? Who does that?
3.
Who does that?
3 races. Our vocal cords are going to be absolutely worn to death, Sam. Absolutely gone. So
and after 3 races, probably your nerves too.
Oh, I guarantee that'll be the case. It'll be the IndyCar Open Series Top Split Monday night at 8 o'clock. That's from Texas. And if you, Greg Evans, by the way, is now the interested observer we'll get on the roll bar because the battle rages in front between James Hodgson, Justin Kirby, and Kendall Paul. Those three trucks are all right on top of each other, and Greg Evans is coming. So 8 o'clock from New Texas, and if there's a track that absolutely personifies the IndyCar, it is New Texas. That is so much fun. I wish I could race it, but I'm broadcasting instead. That will immediately, Sam.
Yes.
Be followed by the Indy Next top split, right? So the Indy Next top split. So the Indy Next car will happen, and we will have a third race. We will have a third race on Monday night, and so on the that would be Monday the 22nd. We'll have Lotus 79s at 9:05 from Watkins Glen, the classic boot. Mike Rigney doesn't like chicane, Sam, so he's going to remove them.
He's not a big fan of triple headers either.
I know he's not. But Mike, we got you back, my man. We got you back. Tuesday night, we're going to have a doubleheader. That's going to be the IndyCar Oval Series top split, and that'll immediately be followed by the Indy Next Series. Wednesday, and I'm trying to do all this from memory, Sam. Wednesday, we're going to have.
I'm sorry, but Greg Evans just made chess moves around this group of cars or group of trucks to move up into the third position. He's made it all the way around Justin Kirby, Kendall Paul, James Hodgson, and now he's setting his sight on the leaders. And what we find is that Chuck Sweeting is slowly trying to cut into the lead that Ryan O'Donoghue has. He's down to 1.2, less than that this time by. He is at 1.3 seconds behind the leader, and now the deuce is the next car looking for those two drivers.
Yes, he most certainly is, and we did get to watch that from the roof cam. Wednesday night, it's going to be a doubleheader, the Horizon IndyCar League and the Formula Indy Series. That's going to happen on Wednesday, both those races at 8, and that's going to bring us right back to the AMA, Sam. Next week, we're going to have the Xfinity cars are going to be. The Xfinity cars are going to be back. They've got AMA. They've got 200 laps of action at Kansas, and then the Truck Series is going to be off. So we get a Friday night off next week, Sam. How about that?
Well, look at the blessings.
Hey, I'm all about having Friday night off. That gives me extra chances to get into trouble. Greg Evans is not in trouble. He has moved into third. This man, Ryan O'Donoghue, has been your steady leader. Every lap contested so far has been led by Ryan O'Donoghue. Chuck Sweeting has moved himself into second. Kendall Paul is now back to fourth after being passed by Greg Evans. And the forward-facing 88 is in fifth. That's James Hodgson. He's being followed by Justin Kirby. Do want to point out that Jeremy Dunwoody, Jalen Story, Ken Holland have all gone one lap down. And so Jeremy Dunwoody currently sits in that lucky dog spot. Yeah, so that's...
I was watching that as well.
That's big.
And the reason we mentioned that is because of the playoff implications that are going on between Dunwoody and Hodgson.
We've got some debate, Sam, over when the chicane was built at Watkins Glen between Brent Kirby, myself, and Mike Rigney. So we're going to have to look that up. I know Mike is not a fan of chicanes, but I want to say that the inner loop, and James Hodgson blinks out and comes right back. I want to say the inner loop or the inner loop wasn't built until the early 90s.
No, I agree with that. It was after J.D. McDuffie's passing.
I was going to say it had to have been after J.D. McDuffie, 1992. And there were
Right.
a series of accidents down there. It wasn't just one. Jeff Bodine had a massive crash, at the end of the backstretch. Tommy Kendall probably had the scariest one when he wrecked the Intrepid down there, and then J.D. McDuffie, of course, was tragically killed in the 1991 stock car NASCAR race at the Glen.
Right.
And so they put the
Right.
inner loop in 1992.
Right. And before that, there was a temporary chicane that was up at the top of the S's at one time, and that was called the Schechter chicane, and it was added into that small portion, or that really quick portion at the top of the S's. But they removed that by 1985. It was gone. But now that was for other series racing. It was not for the Cup Series or NASCAR Series that were going there at that time. It was a temporary chicane that they only installed during that short amount of time for sports car racing.
I believe the hay bales were there for an F1 race too, Sam. I want to say because you had Francis Sievert that was tragically killed there, and so they were trying to make it safe because they had the single. They used to have the single layer is probably not the right word, but the single thing Armco, or the single width Armco, and it was able to be submarined, and so it was very difficult for open wheel cars as far as safety is concerned. What's not been difficult is the racing tonight. Jim Duda and Matty Wagner going after. They've got the lap truck of Jalen Story to the outside. Jim Duda has consistently Wagner and Story there get to banging doors. Do want to point out Jim Duda has consistently been the lowest truck on the racetrack. I mean, he's been all the way down against the white line, Sam, and that's something that you just don't see.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something you just don't see. You don't see very often. Is somebody able to make that work? Because there is less banking in that
Well, it's
particular line.
counterbanked, actually. It's counterbanked compared to what the rest of the racetrack is. But there are, and as I was saying in the pre-race, there are some drivers who have mastered that. They have just really gotten good at the ability to run that counterbanking at the very bottom. Especially, you see he's starting in the middle of the corner, and then he drives off. He just diamonds off that bottom line on exit there, so that he can get as much of a run that he can get. So he'll start in the second lane, drift up enough that he can cut that corner off of two, and then just get that big drive off the corner. And a lot of drivers will do that just for that very reason. As he takes over the 7th spot from Matt Wagner.
Yes, he does. So Jim Duda using that low line to great effect. And Sam, we're getting close as we go back. We'll have a look at David Dunwoody. He is one of the trucks that is fighting for a chance at the playoffs, and he is all the way down. Look at him enter all the way down on the flat, Sam. Now, why would a driver want to be entering all the way down on the flat?
Well, for one thing, Jeremy Dunwoody tries his best, and is always cognizant.
Well, that's David, but
leaders, he's always. Well, you're talking about David. I thought you were talking about Jeremy.
No. David, he's driving the car on the flat.
David is the great experimenter. David will try anything if he thinks that it's going to be beneficial. Now, that's an unconventional approach. We have seen drivers in real life that can make that work, but some drivers may feel like if they can get down there and they can cut as much real estate off, that they'll make up time and speed. In my opinion, that the part of the racetrack has a tendency to really eat the tires up more. I thought you were talking about Jeremy, but I see what you're saying about David just going. I mean, he's entering on the apron, touching the grass at some points.
Yeah, I mean he's all the way down.
We got one on the wall just ahead of them. It looked like Billy Elwell may have caught part of the wall there.
Yeah, Billy Elwell has been falling steadily back through the field. I don't want to say he's burned up the tires, but he is definitely started to move backward. He's about 0.4 of a second off the pace.
Angry.
Yeah, and there's St. Louis Hayes. He's trying to get by Jalen Story, but the man on the move is David Dunwoody with that unorthodox line. I mean, he's clipping up grass. He's mowing the grass down there, Sam, but he's about to make a move.
He's so loose on exit. You see him just completely sideways. Kendall Paul, just for note, Kendall Paul has gotten around the deuce.
Yeah, and he's moved back into third place. But David Dunwoody is nearly as fast as the leaders doing what he's doing. There's Kendall Paul. We're going to get back. This is the best battle on the racetrack. I do want to make the point, Sam. I don't hate road racing. As Jalen Story and Billy Elwell make contact, I don't hate road racing. But I still do think I'd be faster.
So
I still do think I'd be faster at Watkins Glen in a submarine than I would in a race car. We're coming to get lap 56. We should be getting caution here. John Hutchins is about ready to cross the line, and we will see the yellow displayed. No? So there it is.
There it is.
Now we've got yellow. Okay, so Ryan O'Donoghue is the stage winner. Chuck Sweeting is second. Kendall Paul is third. Greg Evans fourth. Justin Kirby fifth. Hodgson, Osterman, Duda, Wagner, and Hutchins are going to round out your top 10. And as soon as we get settled here, I am going to bring up David Dunwoody. I'm going to ask him what in the world he's doing now.
Liam Anderson was able to stay ahead of the leaders there at the end of the stage, and because he was able to stay ahead, that leaves Jeremy Dunwoody in the lucky dog position. So the 99 will be the recipient of that privilege here during green flag or during yellow flag pit stops.
Yes, and that is huge for Jeremy Dunwoody and his playoff hopes.
Sure
He's able to get back on the lead lap, and there's Jeremy. He's also got some damage to that 99 truck as well. If you recall, involved in an accident earlier in the race, and so he is most assuredly going to want to get some of that fixed. He's going to have to wait though. The entire field is headed down pit road, led by Ryan O'Donoghue.
Ryan O'Donoghue setting a blistering pace here in the first stage, and we have a spin on pit lane. It looks like Jim Duda gets into Justin Osterman.
Well, and we've got a black flag on the pit lane too, Jalen Story, which would be too fast entering. And here we go.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, here we go. That's Jim Duda, Justin Osterman, and what in the world has happened here?
Trying to rewatch this, and it looks like it's just in that precarious little space. Now, in the pit stalls, these trucks are ghosted, so you can actually drive through another vehicle in the pit stalls. But Justin Osterman is going into his pits, and Jim Duda is trying to cut the pit stalls off. So he's down underneath him, and as Justin Osterman tries to go into his stall, Jim Duda is three stalls ahead of him.
Yeah, he's just got that
he's
little.
He's already on the inside.
Yeah, he's got that little sliver of the truck that's not ghosted, and Justin Osterman went to turn in and got into him, and so that's a tough break for Osterman because he's going to have to go. He's going to have to now go to.
Oh yeah, he'll be at the back of the field.
Yeah, he'll be at the back of the field. Do want to point out Jeremy Dunwoody did not get damage repaired on his stop. Jalen Story is going to have a black flag, and so we'll see how that.
Yeah, that's a Jalen Story will have, but that's a 40-second hold.
And that's a tough break.
He's speeding on entry.
Well, and that's a tough break too for him because he would be the lucky dog.
Right.
He's in the lucky dog spot, so that's a tough break for him. We are ready to go back to green flag action. Second stage is underway here at the AdminBoxx 175 from New Hampshire. Away we go.
So unusual. Usually administration will try to ask that the drivers will stay nose to tail until they're 3 stalls from their stop, from their pit. It's just unusual that Jim Duda would. Oh, and we have Justin Kirby
Yeah,
sideways.
Justin Kirby
That's
is
going to
around.
cause a pileup.
John
behind
Hutchins.
him. Caution on the Speedway.
Caution on the Speedway is absolutely right, Sam. What in creation have we got now?
I'm telling you, if on cold tires, this truck is a handful. I mean, that's Greg Evans proved it at the beginning of the race, and now Justin Kirby. These are two seasoned drivers that are very good at what they do, and both of them found a loose condition on exit off of turn 4 there. So these drivers have to really find it within themselves to get some heat in these tires before they get too racy. But some drivers are very good at racing a loose condition, and then there are others that would like to be a little bit more casual about it. But when you're really trying to hold on to a spot and you don't want to lose a lot of positions in the running order, sometimes you just have to push the truck a little harder, and that could be the result of that. It's just you just get just that little too much onto the throttle, and the back end comes around on you.
You do. Now, I do want to point out Justin Kirby is going to come out of this more or less okay. The John Hutchins incident was separate. Hutchins sees Kirby spinning, and he's going to get it loose as well. That's Billy Elwell takes evasive action high. Hutchins spins, and look at what happens. David Dunwoody scoots through that opening, and that's going to be worth a look from the roll bar of David Dunwoody. Watch this, Sam.
Wow, Billy Elwell just did an amazing job of missing that.
Yes, he did, and he at the expense of nearly crashing his car. But David Dunwoody, I mean, if he makes the playoffs, he's going to point back at this as a moment. Watch that. Whew.
The whole field is ahead of you here, and you're just trying to survive. It's definitely a cold trickle moment.
It most certainly was.
Just missing Hutchins.
Yeah, I mean there were several cars. Dunwoody wants to know how he made that. I have no idea. I would have been on the hook with a sandwich in my hand by now. But somehow David Dunwoody will race on. 63 of 175 complete here at New Hampshire. Do want to thank everybody for joining in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell so you can be notified of all future P1 broadcasts, including great series like the Onyx Racing League, the AMA, the Formula Indy Series, and the Horizon Racing League, in addition to, of course, all of our official broadcasts. The green flag is back in the air. We're going to get in. We're going to get in Mike Rigney's seat
big
here.
Jump by Ryan O'Donoghue this time. Big jump.
Now let's get in Mike Rigney's seat and watch him hurtle around New Hampshire. That's Say Hey Lewis Hayes on the top of Billy Elwell, and Lewis Hayes has been quiet, but he has been quietly and effectively marching to the front, Sam.
Well, that is exactly how Lewis Hayes would like to run all of his races. He would like to be able to just not have a lot of attention brought to him, run steady, run consistent, and just be able to be racing for the win at the end of the race. That's his MO. That's just how he likes to race. Contact there between Hodgson and Billy Elwell as Billy Elwell digs it deep on the inside, and Hodgson is going to settle in behind him. He's thinking that racing this early is still too much.
And there we go. The battle, the best battle on the track is right here. It's around Say Hey Lewis Hayes. He's pulled up to the back of James Hodgson, and he's got Matty Wagner and Colby Pierce right behind him, side by side. You're looking at 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and then Justin Osterman, Mr. Excitement, has worked his way back to 10th. Woo, we've got car hard in the wall. That's Liam Anderson. Liam Anderson hard in the inside retaining wall. Caution is not out on the speedway. He's going to back it up.
That's off the racing surface. Oh, what a tough break that is. It looks like the truck's under speed, though. It looks like he's been able to save it. He's going to get back out on the track and try and make as many laps as he can.
He hit it, but he hit it flush, Sam. and he hit
Well,
it.
that would certainly, he may have some wheel damage, but it's certainly better than hitting the nose of the truck into the wall and causing engine damage.
It most certainly is. So there's Liam, and he made hard contact with the left side of that truck. But again, he's kind of in that same spot as Story and Jeremy Dunwoody were earlier. You know, he's a half a lap down. He would be the only car in danger of going a lap down, and so you know, just race out the string, keep everything pointed in the right direction, get your lucky dog, get it fixed under the next caution. Meanwhile,
And I'm assuming that Jalen Story served his 40-second penalty. Is that why he's 3 laps down now?
that would be correct.
Okay.
Meanwhile, we come back to the front. The Deuce is hunting down second place, and Chuck Sweeting, Ryan O'Donoghue, has gotten himself out to a commanding 1.1 second lead. Meanwhile, back in the pack, you've got Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. He's made it up to 8th spot now, and he is looking for more on Colby Pierce.
Oh, he's probably driving a little bit with red mist in his eyes just simply because of what happened on the pit lane. And so he's trying to make up as many positions as he can in this particular stage so he doesn't lose all that momentum that he had in the first stage.
You know, you're 100% right, Sam. And you know, these laps click off pretty quick. It's about 30 seconds a lap. We are at lap 70 of 175. We are going to have a stage break, Sam.
Around lap 110?
Yeah, well, I had it, and now I lost it again. Lap 110, and so you've got about 20 minutes, right? Realistically, in the truck, you've got 20 minutes to get yourself moving back toward the front of this field. And Justin Osterman's doing that. He is currently 8th. Now, the guy that needs to start making ground is this one, David Dunwoody. He finished with stage points last time. He does not have stage point this time. He's running along with brother Jeremy, but he needs to start getting it moving forward. Just, you know, I know that you don't want to knock your brother out of the playoffs, Sam, but he's got to be thinking bigger picture. He needs to get up there and score playoff points as well.
That would be such a conundrum to be involved in, is knowing that your brother's involved and you're just trying to, you know, you still want to do well, but you don't want to hurt your brother, and it makes you really put perspective on what we saw growing up for ourselves in NASCAR with the Allisons who raced each other. And then, of course, the father-son duos that raced each other, Davey Allison and his dad, and then, of course, Richard and his dad early in Richard's career. It's just the nepotism of it is, I'm sure it got to be very complicated at times.
I'm sure it does. It's not as complicated when you're running 16th and 17th, though. And we know that David Dunwoody has more speed than that because he's shown it. So maybe just trying to keep that 28 out of trouble and make it to the end. Kendall Paul has started to go back to the front. He is 4th, and he's got a challenge from Billy Elwell. I'll tell you what, that 67 has been worth the price of admission and then some, Sam.
Well, tonight he's been far more aggressive than he has been the last couple of weeks, and so Billy Elwell's not afraid to push the loud pedal with that right foot, and so he's really just making his presence known here in this second stage.
Yeah, he most certainly is. Solid top 5 run for Billy Elwell. Falling a little bit back from Kendall Paul. There's a man just having a solid night right there, James Hodgson. Now, he is on the outside of the playoff picture looking in, 7 points behind Jeremy Dunwoody, but he's doing, Sam, exactly what he needs to do to make it to the round of 8.
No, you mentioned that earlier, and I was surprised that it was just a top 5 that he needed. I felt like the seriousness of the situation, James would really probably need a top 3, in my opinion, to just be on the safe side. But there's still a lot of racing left tonight, and anything can happen. We've learned that here in the AMA. We've learned that nothing is off the table until the checker flag waves. So James is as long as he's still putting himself in a position to finish well, he's racing the best race that he can race.
Most certainly so, Sam, as they run along. Everything is fairly much singled out now. John Hutchins and Jim Duda are the closest race on the course, and so we'll show these two. John Hutchins is 14th. Jim Duda is 13th. We'll get a nice closer look at those two trucks. Chad Dulabon, uncharacteristically, is 15th, and Dulabon has not been a factor or a feature all night, Sam, and that's very odd for him.
You said it best. Yeah, you said it best earlier when you talked about how quietly he's in this field tonight, and I really just in my heart of hearts, I just really believe that Chad Dulabon is just here to support the league. He's going to run and keep the truck clean and just be smart tonight and not do anything that's going to jeopardize anyone else's playoff hopes. I think that's what we're seeing, because typically Chad is always a front runner here in this particular series. I will tell you, at the rate that it's going, and Kendall Paul, who was one of the fastest trucks at the end of the last stage, at the rate that it's going, by the end of this stage, we could very well have a 4-truck race for the lead at the end of this stage if Kendall Paul turns up the wick, because we already have three trucks that are within a second of each other up front. Chuck Sweeting really seems to be really strong through the middle of the corners, because he just incrementally just continues to gain a little bit on Ryan O'Donoghue through the middle. O'Donoghue has a tendency to be a little better coming off the corner, just a little bit, but if you watch carefully, that 75 has found a secret in the middle of the corner, and he just closes in just a little bit on the middle, and if he could just find that little extra bit of speed coming off the corner, he could very well just give Brian O'Donoghue the race that he's been waiting for tonight, because the deuce is coming, and these three drivers are going to be battling that out all together here in the next few laps. These drivers are now coming up on Liam Anderson, and Liam Anderson is going to be in jeopardy of going a lap down here, but if he keeps the truck clean and no other trucks are lapped, then Liam Anderson, and I noticed that we have quite a few Liam Anderson fans in the broadcast tonight, is that if that is the case and he's able to keep the truck clean, then he should be able to be the lucky dog recipient when the stage ends. And now we have Chuck Sweeting, who makes a big move on the inside of Ryan O'Donoghue, and there's Liam Anderson just ahead of these trucks that are battling for the lead. We'll see how this is going to play out.
We will indeed. That's Sweeting
Greg
the
Evans
inside.
is an interested onlooker.
Yeah, and this is the first time Ryan O'Donoghue has really been challenged for that lead. He got kind of caught up, I think, behind the Liam Anderson truck, and with that, it's allowed Sweeting and Greg Evans to catch him. Remember, it wasn't that long ago Ryan O'Donoghue had over a second lead, and Chuck Sweeting's got him right where he wants him. He's using Liam Anderson almost as a pick, Sam.
As a pick. Yeah, he sure is, because there's no room here. And Anderson is really he's finally going to move up a couple of lanes here and let the leaders go by, but he's really fighting to stay on that lead lap just in case the caution comes out. But because of that tight-knit racing we see there with the leaders, that's allowed Kendall Paul to knock a big notch, almost a second and a half off of that space that he had between himself and the leaders. And again, we could have 4 trucks up here racing for the lead before this stage is over.
We could. Now, it appeared to me, Sam, and I may need to readjust my my trifocals, but it appeared to me as though Sam, as though Liam Anderson received not some assistance, but he didn't get the 3 taps. He got a hit from Ryan O'Donoghue.
Well, there was nothing being said in chat, and so sometimes drivers will speak with the chrome horn. And from the camera angle I had on entry into 3, I did not see that contact, so it's good to know that there's the Paul Harvey side of this racing comes to life, the rest of the story.
Yes, he did. Ryan O'Donoghue so far has fended off the challenge for Greg Evans. This is the battle for the lead here in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series at New Hampshire. It's the AdminBoxx 175. Do want to thank the title sponsor of the series, Archway Industrial Coatings. They're a St. Louis-based flooring company that have been getting the job done for years. They have epoxy and urethane flooring solutions that withstand the test of time, all while meeting their customers' installation schedules and budgets. We're committed to doing the highest quality work at the lowest possible cost every time. Whether you're looking for industrial, commercial, restaurant, retail, or concrete repair at home, you found the perfect partner to get the job done. Get ready to floor it with Archway. That's archwaycoatings.com. Archwaycoatings.com is the title sponsor of the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series, and it's been a Donnybrook so far. Chuck Sweeting has the lead. He recently acquired that Ryan O'Donoghue.
Off the wall.
Yeah, O'Donoghue, I think, has burned the tires up because he has now fallen back to fourth spot. Ryan O'Donoghue, by the way, led the first 83 circuits. It's only been in the last 5 or 6 laps that he has not only fallen off the lead, but he has now fallen back to fourth spot. Greg Evans is now second from Chuck Sweeting, Kendall Paul, and there you see Ryan O'Donoghue, and his truck is not handling well, Sam.
Like I said in the pre-race discussion, that as you run these trucks, and if you push it just too hard on exit and just get that right rear heated up, you could find yourself right back into a loose condition on exit, and we may have very well seen that here with Ryan O'Donoghue. It's hard to say. Ryan is a great racer, and he knows how to handle the truck, but he could have gotten that right rear a little hotter than he did in the first stage. But apparently these 3 drivers ahead of him are doing a wonderful job of managing their tires, and we're getting a little gap between these drivers, but slowly it looks as though Greg Evans is just a tad quicker than Chuck Sweeting, and he's working his way to the front.
Yes, he is. Do want to check back in on James Hodgson. Remember, we were talking about him in his quest to make the round of 8. He currently runs 6th. Billy Elwell has solidified his position, but Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, is coming. So is Justin Kirby. And so those 3 trucks might be the best battle on the racetrack. Do want to thank Brent out there for drumming up the support for P1. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so you can be notified of all future iRacing events like the AMA, the Onyx Racing League, Formula Indy Series, the Horizon Racing League, IndyCar Open, Fixed, and Indy Next official races, all right here on P1. We're watching James Hodgson in his attempt to chase down Billy Elwell. You've also got Justin Osterman, Mr. Excitement, and Justin Kirby in attendance. And say, hey, Lewis Hayes is not very far behind this battle, Sam.
No, he's not. There's a lot of drivers that are really fighting for these spots in this little pack of trucks here tonight, and I'm interested to see if James Hodgson is going to be able to catch Billy Elwell in the final laps of this particular stage. But Justin Kirby has done a fantastic job considering his self-spin at the beginning of the stage. Any detriment that may have been done to those tires, it's not showing right now because he has fought his way back up into a battle here with Justin Osterman. And Justin Osterman also started at the back of the field because of a pit road incident. And these drivers are eager to get back into a position where they can get a solid finish for tonight. So great job by these 2 drivers. It's this particular portion of the race, Mark, that the truck begins to get its own personality based on how you're running. It can really tighten up a lot, and you find yourself struggling enough on exit that it just wants to throw the truck into the wall. But again, if that's oversteer in the middle of the corner, then that's what's going to cause that condition. And then there are other trucks like what we've seen with Ryan O'Donoghue, where it seems like the right rear's got a little hot, and he's a little sideways coming off the corner, and that's what's driving him up toward the top into the wall. So each driver, based on his driving technique, is really teaching the truck some kind of characteristic that it's going to have at the end of this run. Oh, Justin Kirby with the slide job. Osterman's not going to let him off the hook. They make contact down the backstretch.
Hard impact. That's going to be Justin Kirby. I couldn't get the.
Oh no! He free rolled back into the wall even harder than the first contact.
I couldn't get back to it. Couldn't get back to it in time.
Justin Kirby was really working on Osterman there, and he finally just drove it into one and got underneath him, and then just really this really close slide job in front of the 53, and then they just a crossover there by Osterman, and they make contact coming off the corner. Wow.
Now those are the kinds of things that you know, you've got to temper, right? So that move might be okay with 8 laps to go, not with 77 laps to go. You probably don't want to make that move. And then Justin Kirby compounds the issue, doesn't hit the brakes and rolls straight into the inside wall.
I think the initial contact was manageable, but then he just free rolled like he had put it in neutral and was free rolling, and then just made a quick. It looked like he was just trying to make a quick spin around the momentum just to turn the truck around, and didn't realize how close he was to the wall. And that second impact just tore the tailgate right off the truck, and now he's in for some extensive repairs.
He is. He does not have the meatball, so he's in good shape with that, Sam. We are nearing lap 100 of 175 here in the AdminBoxx 175 for the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. Chuck Sweeting is your leader. Greg Evans second. Kendall Paul third. Ryan O'Donoghue fourth. Billy Elwell is fifth. And Sam, the first 100...
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that does give Liam Anderson the lucky dog. I think you mentioned that, didn't you? Or if you didn't, then Liam, for those that are...
Yes, Liam Anderson does have the lucky dog. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he'll be able to take advantage of that.
Yes, he will. And he's up to 16. Well, he's going to get to go to the tail end, the longest line anyway. Do want to point out, Sam, we did have some stoppers here. David Dunwoody, John Hutchins, and Ken Olland all came in for service. Now, they're going to have one extra set of tires. And so this may be the opportunity to burn them, Sam. Because I don't think that those guys are going to stop when we get to the stage at 110.
I probably would think not. It would certainly be a plan that if you know that you don't have the speed that the leaders have, if you don't have that kind of speed, that maybe you could start up front and then less likely of going in jeopardy of going a lap down by the end of the last stage. So it could be something that they're certainly considering under those circumstances. And we're getting ready to go back green. Green flag's out.
Yes, we are. Chuck Sweeting is your leader. Greg Evans second. Kendall Paul third. Ryan O'Donoghue, Billy Elwell, your top five, and Justin Osterman. Big move on the inside, Sam. He's got to the bottom of Billy Elwell, and they're going to drag race down the back. Osterman wants to get to the front.
Well, don't take your eyes off that race. Mr. Excitement and Billy Elwell? Are you kidding? Don't take your eyes off that race. Those are two drivers that go at it. So we're going to see what happens in that particular instance.
We are. Meanwhile,
like Osterman's going to fall in, but big drive into one there by Osterman.
Yes, it was. And that car on the bottom rolling around on the apron, that's David Dunwoody. He's got new tires, and he's been able to make that work. The fight between Osterman and Elwell, though, Sam, it rages.
Oh, no question. Osterman wants that spot, and Elwell doesn't want to give it up. In the meantime, it's Justin Kirby is really dealing with the ramifications of that particular incident with Justin Osterman, and he's back. Nope, Justin Kirby has disconnected and reconnected.
I've got him out of the server now, Sam. So I think he might
Okay.
have retired. So
No,
Justin
he's
Kirby.
back in the server actually now.
Okay. He might.
Yeah, he
Well,
was not happy about the contact. I know that there was some discussion after that particular incident, but the AMA actually has some procedures that are in place for drivers that feel like they've been slighted, or if they have a question about contact or anything of that nature. The AMA actually has a well-structured program that they allow drivers to put in information to the administration to take care of those things, and so that could very well be what the recourse for
I
Justin
gotta
Kirby as he works on that.
I gotta stop you, Sam. David Dunwoody had driven his truck all the way up to fifth spot, and then lost everything with a huge slide down the backstretch.
Oh no.
Multiple shots in the wall. He's all the way back to 12th. He had come and got new tires under that yellow in order to try and score stage points. But
He's
a
not
costly
completely out of it yet, is he?
no, and he's been making up
Oh,
time. He's been making up
right,
time
right.
the same way all the way down nearly on the apron, but he had made it all the way up past Justin Osterman and then got really bad loose coming off of turn number 2. And unfortunately, he's run up here to Jim Duda. Duda also wants to run that bottom line. Colby Pierce is all the way against the line, but not below it. David Dunwoody, if this race is 175 miles and this track is a mile around, he's only
Yeah,
going to
he's
run
done
about.
150.
Yeah, he's doing 171.
Oh, now
He's
we see another truck that's running. Colby Pierce is
yeah.
down on the apron.
Well,
Oh,
those two are longtime friends and teammates, and they are. Uh, I can bet you a shiny new dime, Sam. Colby said, "Well, Andy's doing it. I bet that's pretty quick." And Colby dropped down there to try it, and now Dunwoody gets to
and now
his.
he's getting passed by Dunwoody.
Yes, he
Here,
is.
follow me. Follow me, Dunwoody said. Don't do as I say. Do as I do. Boy, he is really trying to make up these positions
Hard
to keep
impact.
himself
Justin
fast.
Osterman into the wall. Justin Osterman takes a big lick into the inside outside and then the inside wall. Caution is out, Sam, and that is going to be the stage.
Yeah, Elwell gets a little loose off the corner there, and then they make contact coming off of turn 4, and that sends Osterman spinning down the front stretch. It looks like maybe a little net code, in my opinion. Just a little, yeah.
Yeah.
He gets a little loose, and then maybe just a touch of net code, but he's loose enough that he makes contact with Osterman and sends Osterman down, spinning down the front. I knew those two together was going to be quite the race.
It most certainly has, and that's going to bring us to lap 110 and the end of the second stage. We will return right after these messages from Blackmagic Studios.
kit.
Welcome back to the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. It's Murph and it's Sam, and it is a Friday night here on P1, and that means it is the AMA Archway.
Caramel popcorn. That's what that means.
Caramel popcorn. It's strawberries, Sam. Strawberries.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We were just discussing during the quick break how my wife had brought me a dish of strawberries, and Sam said that sounded good. And I said, well, it does until you realize that I go through 10 to 12 pounds of strawberries a week in my house. My daughter eats almost a pound of strawberries every day. The girl loves strawberries, and so I also like them.
My granddaughters love them as well.
Yeah, I will go broke buying them strawberries. That's why I broadcast so much, Mike. I've got to pay for my daughter's strawberry habit.
Yeah, there's a habit there that has to be.
That's right. But yes, it was a dish of strawberries, which is I don't eat a lot. I'm kind of weird, Sam, and I know that we've had a lot of discussion about food in the channel here. David Dunwoody said he's got 3 minutes of damage.
3 minutes of damage. Wow.
Yeah, so he might be.
And he's running laps like that, and he's got 3 minutes of damage.
Well, I don't know that. I don't know that necessarily he had. I mean, he was on pit lane for quite a bit of time, 46 seconds. So he repaired a lot of it. He has not been back to pit lane, so he didn't take advantage of the extended caution for sure. Pace truck is going to duck on off here, Sam. And
oh yeah, we're getting ready. John Hutchins. I don't know that John Hutchins actually pitted.
He did not
this time by, and so now watch the wheel spin. Make sure. Nope, he gets a great jump, and that's going to allow Greg Evans to follow him right up even with the outside line.
Now here we go, 1:15 of 75, and Sam, this begs the question: can they make it to the end? 61 laps to go here.
Oh, let's see if Ryan O'Donoghue actually, who has been the fastest truck on cold tires in the entire field, if he's going to make a real big stab at Greg Evans here while the tires are cold. Greg Evans already proved that he's a little loose on fresh tires. There he goes. He's a little wiggly off of 4.
Meanwhile, James Hodgson hard in the wall.
No.
That is championship implications for James Hodgson.
No.
He is hard in the inside wall.
Significant damage to the front of that truck.
Boom. It doesn't look like it's blown up though, Sam. I don't see the telltale.
That's heart-wrenching for Hodgson there.
I don't see the telltale.
There they are.
Black
He
smoke.
and Jeremy Dunwoody, who are fighting for that coveted spot for the playoffs, and there they are side by side after that spin. Wow. You'll have to go in and incur repairs here.
And that's a hard. I don't see. He's very lucky that that truck is not, as they say, blowed up, Sam. I mean, he's very lucky. Let's get in.
Yeah, because the trucks in this iRacing damage model, the trucks are so sensitive on the nose. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of impact to blow a motor in these trucks.
No, it doesn't. And you can hear the damage to the engine, Sam. You can hear it. Now, let's see what he does here. He's going to pull it in, and there's James. He's going to affect at least some repair here to that truck, but is it going to be enough? And that doesn't necessarily mean that it won't blow up once it gets back to speed, Sam.
And Matt Wagner is actually sitting on the pit lane as well.
Yeah, we've got several trucks. David Dunwoody is back in for more repair.
Justin Osterman is on the pit lane. David Dunwoody is on the pit lane. All of these trucks are probably working on repairs. Dunwoody's going to get back into the loud pedal real quick before the pace car. He and Matt Wagner are going to try and beat the pace car off the pit lane so that they don't go a lap down. In the meantime, we see James Hodgson. He's going to beat the pace truck out. And that leaves Osterman and Justin Kirby still on the pit lane. I don't know that Justin Kirby's truck actually looks much better, like some of the repairs are made, but he is not coming back out on the racetrack. And he is now several laps down.
He is indeed. We're right on board with James Hodgson. I mean, that truck is still sick, Sam. He's going to need. He's going to need more. He's going to need more yellow. The saving grace for Hodgson is that he scored a lot of stage points in this one, and it's only a 7-point gap. So keep it moving in the right direction, and it's still possible for him to make the playoff.
Green flag.
There's the green flag.
Oh yeah, that truck sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's not up to full song, but we'll see what becomes of James Hodgson.
not.
Meanwhile, Liam Anderson with a black flag. Liam Anderson has been given a black flag here.
He's discussing that with he's discussing that with the administration at the moment. They're discussing it with Liam, and I believe that's the end of the night for James Hodgson.
Yeah, I heard the familiar crack, and I believe
Yes.
that is motor blown. Poor James
What
Hodgson
a heartbreaking race for James Hodgson. Heartbreaking.
It is indeed. Back to the front of the field. Billy Elwell to the bottom of John Hutchins. Billy Elwell making a bid here for fourth. And this is by far the best that Billy Elwell has run all season. He's sticking up there. The question remains, though, Sam, do you have to stop in this stage, or can you make it the full 60 laps?
You should be able to make it the full. We
Jim
have
Duda down the pit lane.
Spinning down pit lane.
Now, that's not going to cause a caution because he made it all the way down pit lane.
But was he speeding when he crossed that line?
Well, he's not going to go into the pit lane. He actually drove
He
back.
didn't go all the way into past the yellow cone. Okay, yeah.
Well, he did, but then he drove back out.
Oh, I see.
So he didn't actually.
Wouldn't that be an unsafe pit entrance?
I don't know. They didn't give him a black flag, though. Here he is, Jim Duda, and he's consistently been on that bottom, but that time it bit him, and now it does give him the black flag.
That's an unsafe pit entrance is what that is.
Well, and see what he tries to do. He backs up, and then he tries to drive around the cone so that it doesn't.
Between the cone and the retaining wall, and once you cross into that little section, that's an unsafe move according to iRacing.
It most certainly is. Kendall Paul has gone back past Billy Elwell, so move Kendall Paul back into the fourth spot. Elwell is relegated to fifth. Meanwhile, say hey, Lewis Hayes. He's pulled up on the back of John Hutchins. Keith Graham is an interested observer here, but say hey, Lewis Hayes again. A very quiet, very effective night. But we still haven't answered the question, Sam. Can these drivers make it to the end? 53 laps to go.
Yes. I would. At 70% fuel, you can make 55 laps. So I think that these drivers should be fine. I just ran and the reason I know that I just was in an event last night in the trucks here at New Hampshire, and we were running 70% fuel, and so I was able to make runs easily on 55 laps, 56 laps on 70% fuel.
Now, will the tires hold up? That's the next question.
Well, again, that depends on how hard you're going to race this truck.
Very good. Say hey, Lewis.
As we saw what, Ryan O'Donoghue, the first stage, which he led the majority of, and then, of course, the second stage, it seemed like he burned him up a little bit more, racing harder in the second stage, and now he's making a bid up front for the lead.
On Greg Evans. They've moved past Chuck Sweeting, and so it's Evans leading, O'Donoghue second. We know two things are true here. Ryan O'Donoghue is going to race hard, and he will not use the bumper on Greg Evans. At least intentionally.
I believe that it's extremely important to Ryan O'Donoghue that he wants to race with Greg Evans. He wants to test his mettle with drivers like Greg Evans. I believe that anytime that you have drivers of that kind of quality and you know you have speed, you're always working to try and better your racecraft. And Ryan O'Donoghue is definitely one of those drivers who likes to see if he can make that happen.
For certain, sure. There goes Ryan O'Donoghue. He's on the bottom. Greg Evans in the deuce on the top. Evans and O'Donoghue are putting on a clinic that shows you exactly how you should race here at New Hampshire. Not a glove laid either one. Evans will maintain the lead.
I think if you're racing in these particular instances on equal tires, the outside line, if you're on the outside of the truck, another truck, you're going to have the advantage. It prevents the truck on the bottom side to be able to let the truck run its natural progression off the corner, and so they have to moderate the throttle a little bit more. And so if you're on the outside, you're really going to be the dominant truck in a side by side battle, unless you just get pushed all the way toward the wall.
Absolutely, Sam. Speaking of being pushed toward the wall, I had an interesting evening last night. You talked about going to get a nice dinner. David Dunwoody, Justin Osterman, and I were bored last night, and so we went and raced jumpy trucks. Sam, they had me racing a dirt jumpy truck, and I have to tell you, I have not laughed that hard in so long and had that much fun in a long time.
Those trucks can be a lot of fun.
They were hilariously fun until I crashed and drove off the side of a mountain. That wasn't too much fun. But either way, a ton of fun was had. Jumpy trucks. And we were trying to persuade David Dunwoody earlier to run a winter series as we watched the battle between O'Donoghue and Greg Evans here. We'll get the wider camera angle on there for us. Trying to convince him to run a winter series, and he was soliciting ideas, Sam. I told him they should run 8 races, they should run 8 Rovals in GTPs.
Oh, heavens.
So 8 Rovals in GTPs, 4 on the oval version of said circuit, and 4 on the road course. Chuck Sweeting moved out of the way for Kendall Paul. That'll move Kendall Paul to 3rd. Chuck Sweeting is 4th. Billy Elwell is about 4 seconds back, and he has all sorts of trouble coming in the form of John Hutchins and Say Hey Lewis Hayes. But these trucks right here are 4 seconds behind the leader. Don't want to lose sight of Billy Elwell, who is running a whale of a race. No, the jumpy trucks, the stadium trucks, Liam Anderson Motorsports. Right. They run them. That you see them at street races. They also have their own dirt courses that they run on. Kind of like if you remember the old Ivan Stewart Stadium trucks, those. But yes, Sam, jumpy trucks. Anyway,
jumpy trucks.
So four races. Or 4 different circuits, 1 race on the oval circuit, and then 1 race on the road course of that circuit. So
is that your recommendation?
That is my recommendation. So you go to like Texas, old Legacy, Texas, Legacy, Phoenix. You could come here. New Hampshire has a wonderful road course. I think it might be a little bit small for GTPs. Legacy, Atlanta has a good road course that you could use. California has one. But wouldn't that be fun, Sam?
I'm sure it would be fun. Oh, no! Hutchins and Billy Elwell make contact going into 1, and now you've got trucks all over the racetrack.
They're going to save it. Billy Elwell goes way to the high side. John Hutchins grabs the bottom. Say Hey Lewis Hayes absolutely lifted off the hammer to let that happen. Brent Kirby has just now realized that I'm nuts, Sam. And so, Brent, you're about...
And he has the paperwork to prove it.
That's right. I tell people all the time, man, I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested. Billy Elwell is going to maintain that spot. After all that, Billy Elwell maintains fifth, and give a hand to Billy Elwell. That was an amazing save right there.
And
John,
he actually apologized for that move. He didn't explain why he came down on Hutchins like that, but he acknowledged that he made a mistake, and so he was addressing that with the drivers. He and everybody's been able to keep their truck pointed in the right direction and keep racing here. I don't know what that may have done to the left front or
right
the
front.
right front of Hutchins' truck. That contact, I mean, it could very well cause maybe some kind of contact damage or something, but I can't see any damage on the 72.
Well, let's check it out. This is looking back off of Billy Elwell. I don't see anything, Sam. I mean,
yeah, I'm looking closely as well, and I really don't see any.
I don't even see a wrinkle.
72.
Yeah,
not even a scrape. I mean, sometimes you'll see a scrape on those trucks, but that place worship center F-150 seems to be just as racy, and those two Fords are trying to catch that 67 Chevrolet Silverado up ahead of them.
Yeah, they're well. Billy Elwell maintains fifth. This is the gap. Chuck Sweeting is 6.5 seconds in fourth, ahead of Billy Elwell, Hutchins, and Lewis Hayes. They're racing for fifth, sixth, and seventh, and Chad Dulabon is about ready to join that party. James Hodgson chimes in. He says the playoff campaign is over. It was always going to be an uphill battle missing Darlington, let alone making a dope mistake. And no worries, James. There's always next year, buddy. You'll be back for certain sure. Meanwhile,
James, no matter what position you fall in points in the AMA, you're still number one in our heart.
Even though you're number 88 in our program.
He's my favorite battling Brit. There's no two ways around it.
He is indeed. James Hodgson, unfortunately retired. Spin, contact, blown engine, out of the race here today at New Hampshire. 35 laps to go in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series, live from New Hampshire here on P1 Broadcasting. Greg Evans is your leader. Kendall by a second and a half over Kendall Paul. Ryan Donahue and Chuck Sweeting are firmly ensconced in third and fourth. The battle is for fifth. That's Billy Elwell, John Hutchins, Lewis Hayes, and Chad Dulabon is sneaking back into this party.
This is a great fight. Elwell is really doing everything in his power to hold that spot. Well, he drove up a little high that time, but he's going to get a big run off the top.
Yes, he is, and Billy is running kind of an unorthodox line, Sam, and it's making it very difficult for John Hutchins to get a big run. Yeah, so he's running all the way at the top, and then he's progressively making the truck lower throughout the corners. It's kind of the way we saw Colby Pierce run his truck in qualifying. Elwell also is taking a different line through each corner. He was significantly higher in turns 3 and 4 than last time than he was in 1 and 2, and it's just making it difficult for John Hutchins because he doesn't know where to get the run. Caution.
On Speedway.
Colby Pierce is slow, and there's
actually he got loose off of turn 2.
Yes, he did.
And because he did, he just lazily, the back of the truck just comes around on him and he's sideways on the back stretch, and then he counters that, and that is enough on the racetrack that it would constitute a caution flag.
Yes, it does. There's Colby Pierce. We're going to see it coming off the corner here. It starts to go just about at apex, Sam. It's going to go all the way around, and full marks to Colby for recognizing he needed to spin that truck back the other way before he made significant contact. He doesn't hit anything, but the reason that this is a caution as opposed to no caution before, when you saw cars spinning and parked in the middle of the track, there are other trucks around him, and so Colby Pierce causes the caution. We are 30 laps to go here in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. As a reminder, if you haven't done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1. We are just over 1,353 subscribers, and we'd love it if you made one more.
Oh no! I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You proclaimed.
I
Oh
don't
no!
know. I mean, I don't know how sensitive the rule is at this particular track, but Billy Elwell missed the commitment box and drives over the top of the commitment box.
Okay, so this is a thing, and we won't know the situation.
No,
we won't know until everybody comes off pit road. Here's Billy Elwell. There's the box, and he drives over it. I think he's probably.
Some tracks are very sensitive about that. I wasn't sure about this particular track.
I think he's probably going to be okay. Sam, as far as I recall, it's the cone that it does the penalty here.
Well, there are some tracks that you can be penalized by driving over that.
Right. No.
That's why I said the sensitivity for this particular track.
Right. I think because there's not a different version for Indy cars as opposed to these, there's not a NASCAR. Some tracks in iRacing you'll see NASCAR oval and open wheel or IndyCar oval. The IndyCar version will have a different rule set for that. This track only has one oval, which is just oval, and it goes by the IndyCar rule. So I think he's okay there. I think.
Right.
Well,
he's still on track. He's in line.
Yeah, it would have thrown the black flag by now if there was going to be one for Billy Elwell. So he is safe. Now, to be fair, I don't go messing with that, right? I don't want to challenge that, right?
I don't want to take the chance. Like
No.
I said, some tracks it's very sensitive, and some tracks it's not, and that's why I said I'm not aware of the sensitivity at this particular track.
Yeah, I think that's because this track goes by the open wheel. When there's two rule sets for a track, but there's only one scan, it goes by the open wheel rule, which is the cone.
Green flag.
Meanwhile, we've got green flag action. David Dunwoody and Jim Duda both have black flags. Just so you're aware, Sam. We get back to live action. Chuck Sweeting has the lead, and he has gone around. Caution is going to be on the speedway. Chuck Sweeting has spun, and we will get a note on why that's happened.
Wow, Greg Evans just really got a big run off of 2 and got into the back of Sweeting and just punted him. And immediately Sweeting was very unhappy. And he gets clobbered in the back of the field as well.
Yeah, so here's the
and Greg Evans owns up to his mistake, but that's big.
Yes, it is. Here's Greg Evans. He is driving down into turns 1 and 2. He's going to get a big run right here. And Chuck Sweeting, it's almost, when you get a run like that, it's almost like the guy in front of you just puts it in park. I don't think Greg Evans could have got off of him if he wanted to. And here's, Chuck Sweeting sliding up the track and clobbered by none other than Jeremy Dunwoody. So it was Jeremy Dunwoody that hits Chuck Sweeting. So stand by, James Hodgson. You might not be out of this just yet. Jeremy Dunwoody hard into Chuck Sweeting, and that was not a light.
Oh, and the damage is significant to the left rear of that 75 truck, which has been incredibly fast all night long.
It was. Do want to point out that Liam Anderson also spun in the background and took severe impact to the outside wall with the rear of his Krause Auto Body machine. But Jeremy Dunwoody, big trouble to the left front of that truck. I don't know, Sam.
It doesn't look well. There, the left. He got the iRacing forgiveness there, but now the left front fender is gone, and then it miraculously reappears.
So Jeremy is going to come back out on the speedway. He has 16 laps down, or He's going to be scored 16th. He's still on the lead lap. Got brother David in front of him. But with stage points, he's still going to need to finish several positions ahead of James Hodgson. Remember, Hodgson scored stage points here. Dunwoody has not. Jeremy Dunwoody has not. And that was a severe impact on my screen, Sam.
It was.
On my screen, the whole left front fender came away. Now it's been replaced, but it's still wrinkled up there.
Yeah, the replay I was watching, it disappeared, reappeared, disappeared, reappeared. And now, after a quick pit stop, it does look like they've just kind of put the bare bond on it, and it's still attached, but we don't know what the damage is to the wheel. We don't know what the damage is to the motor.
We don't,
I mean,
and
it could be significant either way.
We don't, and he was on the pit lane only for 29 seconds, and so he may have significant damage to that truck. Meanwhile, the green flag comes back out. Greg Evans is your leader. Ryan O'Donohue is second, and O'Donohue immediately goes to work. Kendall Paul will slot in behind him.
I know Chuck Sweeting has to be incredibly disappointed about that, as he's now trying to just make his way back up through the field with 25 laps or 24 laps to go here. I know he's got to be extremely upset under those circumstances, but he just needs to put his hands on the wheel and see how much track position he can get back in this final run, provided that there's not another caution or two in the meantime. I will tell you this, Greg Evans being out front like this, Greg Evans does put himself in a position where he gets clean air. And it really does make a little bit of difference in these trucks to have clean air going across the nose. You wouldn't think the aero would matter a whole lot, but it actually does at this particular track, is that if you get behind someone, it can kind of ruffle up some dirty air on the nose of your truck.
It most certainly can. The racing is not at the front. The racing is back here. And guess who it's around? Matty Wagner has made it around Billy Elwell. So score Wags in fifth. Elwell sixth, and he is under fire from Sahay Lewis Hayes. You've got Colby Pierce and Keith Graham are also in attendance for...
handful for Colby Pierce right there. Big handful.
Yes, it is. Let's jump on board with Colby Pierce here. In the 42, and there he is.
Oh, and now we have Chad Dulabon sideways at the back of the track.
So there's Dulabon. He is, as you said, Sam, sideways. Caution is on the racetrack, and let's see what's happened here to Chad Dulabon.
Oh, he really makes a big move underneath Keith Graham there in turns 1 and 2. And as he does, he's caught in the middle of that seam, and the rear of the truck just comes around. Now that's the third quality driver tonight that has run into this situation where the back of the truck just gets a little tail happy. And so Chad Dulabon spins it around, takes some damage to the tailgate. He'll probably afford repairs for that particular damage, and then puts him at the back of the field. If I'm not mistaken, he'll be the last truck on the lead lap this time. Yes, that'll be the case. I think Chad Dulabon Jalen Story with a great comeback tonight, and he will be our lucky dog recipient.
Yeah, Jalen Story is going to get back on the lead lap. That's what happens when you stick it out. You get a yellow or two. You effect repair. You're going to be on the lead lap, and there are going to be a ton of trucks that are going to come in and effect repair one more time. That's David Dunwoody, Chuck Sweeting. I see Liam Anderson back there, Jeremy Dunwoody, and Chad Dulabon. They're all going to hit pit road. Remember, David Dunwoody was saying earlier, he's got something like 3 minutes of damage. The front of that truck is still wrinkled, and so this is, the more yellow you get, the more he's going to come in and get this thing fixed. Justin Osterman apparently still had some tires he could take, and so Osterman goes back out. We'll keep an eye on that. But we're looking at the MASH unit in the on the pit road here at New Hampshire with 19 laps to go, Sam. There's some quality trucks that are sitting there getting fixed.
Yes, sir. I agree with you on that. It's just this again. The damage model on this truck is so sensitive, and it can put you in a really jeopardous position that you have to affect repairs enough that you have to make multiple stops in order just to fix optional repairs, much less if it was terminal. But nonetheless, these drivers are trying to get as much fixed on these trucks as they can for the final push in the closing laps of this race. We'll be going green this time by. The lights are out on the pace truck. Still 14 trucks on the racetrack tonight. There's a lot of drivers that have really seen a lot of action tonight. There's several drivers that just seem to have had a night full of events, and the racing is yet to be completed tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see how we've finished out this last 15 laps.
Yeah, that's a great point, and great point from Justin or from Brent Kirby. How many heat cycles are on these tires? 3, 4. This would be the fourth cycle right here, Sam. With 18 laps to go, as Greg Evans, he'll jump into the lead. Kendall Paul is on the bottom side of Ryan
Except
O'Donoghue.
for Justin Osterman, who just put a fresh set of tires on his particular truck, as he's 3 wide at the back of the field underneath Jim Duda, and they're going to be fighting it out down the backstretch. Osterman's not going to let out of the. Oh, and they make contact with Jim Duda. Jim Duda sideways going. It looks like everyone's going to miss him.
Well, and here's the issue I have with that, Sam, and to be blunt and fair, Justin Osterman's 7 laps down. Right? I get that he's got fresh tires. I get that he's racing. I get that he's having fun. But he's 7 laps down. Right.
Let the leaders race.
Let the guys on the lead lap race. Keith Graham does a great job saving his truck. Same with Chuck Sweeting. But you know, I get wanting to go fast, and I get having the fresh tires. You're 7 laps down, right? And so we will leave it at that. We are not the administration, but you're 7 laps down. Anyway, Greg Evans continues to lead after this caution. Ryan O'Donoghue is second. Kendall Paul is third. And one of these days, Sam, I have a feeling we're going to have a spectacular race toward the end here. Ryan O'Donoghue is hungry, and you know there's nobody that he would want to beat any more than Greg Evans.
Yeah, there's nothing more gratifying than knowing that you've raced to the win with some good competition. And Chuck Sweeting is, Chuck Sweeting is still trying to make his way back up there so he can put his iron in the fire, so to speak.
You know he is, and he's made it back to 11th. David Dunwoody is 12th. I would surmise that now Dunwoody has made full. And
look who's in 5th. Look who's in 5th.
Yeah, Matt Wagner. If he gets on the podium, we'll never hear the end of it.
We'll have to have a separate broadcast just for Matt Wagner.
For the interview. A more loquacious individual you will not find. Jeremy Dunwoody, Liam Anderson back on pit lane affecting repair. Jalen Story came in and he took a set of tires. Now that's interesting because Story, if you recall, was a lap down for most of this. When he gets back on the lead lap, he saved himself a set of tires.
Well, at one point, he was 3 laps down. He was 3 laps down at one point.
He's come all the way back, Sam, and he's got himself a brand new pair of shoes. And now Brent Kirby has changed his allegiance. He's now cheering for Matt Wagner.
Well, his brother's out of the event, so he's got to pick somebody.
He's got to pick.
And I know he's rooting for the 43 as well. So
he most certainly is. Say, hey, Lewis Hayes, Matt Wagner. The Kirbys have all raced together for a long, long time, and all good friends. And so, but it's good to see the community supporting each other. It's good to see the community supporting the series.
I agree. And we've got a great crowd here for the closing laps here at New Hampshire, and so we are appreciative of everyone who's tuned in to watch the end of this race. Let's just hold on because it's not over. We've still got less than 10 laps to go, but there's a lot of positions and a lot of information that has to be quailed over in the closing laps here.
David Dunwoody said we ain't seen nothing yet. Well, we're going to start seeing it. The green flag is out. Greg Evans has the loud.
Great start by Ryan O'Donoghue.
Yes, it was, and critically this time he did not get a black flag. Remember, that's not always been the case. As they fan out behind Evans and O'Donoghue, they are 3 and 4 wide in the back of this pack, all the way to the top. And that looked like Osterman all the way to the top. But there is just mayhem.
There's Dunwoody in the John Deere 28, cutting grass down on the bottom.
He's got the blades on the more sharpened, Sam. He is all the way to the bottom. Billy Elwell racing along with Colby Pierce. Again. And there goes he's making up time down there, Sam.
He sure is. That's exciting to watch old Dunwoody doing that. And now Colby Pierce, Lewis Hayes, Billy Elwell, there's a big fight right there for that position.
Yeah, we're watching it. That's Pierce on the bottom, Elwell in the middle. Say Hey Lewis Hayes on the top, and what, David Dunwoody in the grass? Call it. He didn't go.
I'm calling Cub Cadet and just tell them that they've got a new driver on their hands.
Now that's totally fun and fair because if you recall, Tony Kanaan went through the grass at the Indy 500 a couple of years ago, and he did some publicity photos and was gifted one of the more.
Elwell sideways. He collects Colby Pierce, Lewis Hayes, Keith Graham is involved, but he's able to keep the truck straight. Billy Elwell completely sideways coming off of turn 4.
All right, so we're going to watch this, and then we're going to watch it from David Dunwoody's view because Dunwoody somehow missed the entire accident.
Well, it's easy to miss when you're all the way in the infield.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that was in the straightaway. But poor Billy Elwell, he's going to get sideways here.
Oh, wow. He and Keith Graham. Lewis Hayes keeps it straight. Jim Duda's involved here.
All right, here we go. Elwell gets sideways coming off of turn number 4. He mostly saves it, but then he gets sideways. He's going to collect Say Hey Lewis Hayes and Colby Pierce. They are going to completely block the track. Keith Graham is going to get hit, but somehow Dunwoody gets through. Jim Duda does not. Jim Duda got all kinds of caught up in that. He got hit three or four different times, I think, playing pinball. But we are going to get back and watch this.
This will be a green-white checker this time. This will give us a green-white checker.
I think.
No, it won't. You're right. No, it won't.
I was going to say, watch.
No. I was thinking 170, but we're running 175 laps tonight, so we'll have a number of laps as Jeremy Dunwoody, Billy Elwell. They're going to head down pit lane and try and get some repairs to those trucks.
Watch this. Here's the crash from the roof of David Dunwoody. There's Elwell. There's Pierce spinning. The seas part for Dunwoody. And then behind him, everything breaks loose, Sam. My goodness.
I was surprised at how long Billy Elwell was able to keep that truck sideways before he actually started coming down the racetrack, and then he collects Colby Pierce. I don't know that Lewis Hayes really had too much damage, but he does receive a little bit of front damage and left side damage. And David Dunwoody, with the move of the race, just splitting those trucks right down the front stretch. It was just a monumental task of avoiding that particular wreck.
It was indeed. So let's set the stage for you. We've got a lap to go to green. In the lead, you've got Greg Evans in the Sim Magic Deuce. In second, Ryan O'Donoghue. Third, Kendall Paul. Fourth, Matt Wagner. Fifth, John Hutchins. Sixth is David Dunwoody. Seventh, Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Keith Graham is 8th, Chuck Sweeting 9th, and Liam Anderson, after backing that truck in the fence, he is 10th. Or 11th, depending on how you score it. Jim Duda.
a lot of resilience from Liam Anderson and Jalen Story tonight to be able to come back from
And that's their team.
misfortune.
Well, and that's their
Yeah,
team,
and
Sam. I mean,
they've just done a great job of putting themselves back in the race. Of course, circumstances have to work to your favor in a lot of regards, but they're the ones behind the wheel. They're the ones that are making these things happen. And now we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing as the pace truck heads off of the racetrack.
Green, green, green.
here we go. Here is the start of the restart of the AdminBoxx 175 with 6 laps to go. Greg Evans is your leader. Kendall Paul drops to the inside of Ryan O'Donohue. They've got Matt Wagner in 4th, and David Dunwoody continues to run the extreme bottom. He's now pulled up next to say, hey, Lewis Hayes. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, he's already said you ain't seen nothing yet, and he's just going to race this. He's going to see this thing through to the end if he has to. He's making up spots down there. He really is.
That truck, when you look at it coming off the corner, it looks like a late model, a dirt late model with the left.
He's leaving black marks on the track on entry. He's leaving marks on the track where the right rear is just getting loose on entry.
Well, the left front's popped up like it's a dirt late model, Sam.
And he's gonna make a bid at John Hutchins here before this is over with.
All right, man.
We
have
got
a caution back on the speedway.
It's Liam Anderson one more time.
Oh, how unfortunate.
At least I think it was Liam Anderson. It was Liam Anderson.
Yeah, and it looks like Colby Pierce gets underneath him there, and they make contact at the bottom of the racetrack. Liam is able to loop the truck completely around without any ill effects other than just angry tires and maybe the driver being a little bit put out. But
I was going to say that
he's going to be fine.
I believe he's going to get some assistance right here.
Yeah, with Colby Pierce driving to the bottom of the racetrack and just diving in there at the last second.
Around he goes.
That's a late move. That's a really late move, and he starts well before Liam begins his entry, and then by the time Liam starts his entry into the corner, Colby Pierce has already put his nose of his truck down in there.
Yes,
the affectionate term in iRacing and racing in itself is called the dive bomb.
Also known as the Marshall Pruett Golden Bowling Ball. If you wanted to put an IndyCar press term on it, the Golden Bowling Ball. He used to, Marshall Pruett, great writer, Racer Magazine, ESPN.com. He used to award that after every race. He would have an article about the winner of the Golden Bowling Ball Award. Either way, Sam, we are going to get your green-white checker this time. Lights are going to go out on the pace truck. We'll come back. The next time we come around, we'll get the green. Hopefully, the time after that, we'll get the white. And then once we get the white, we'll get the checker. Is this counting as a green-white checker, or is this natural?
This is natural.
So a green-white checker, natural.
Actually, now after passing the start-finish line, now it is official green-white checker. Now we're in the official.
We're
lining up to take the green flag this next time by, and that puts us in a natural green-white checker scenario.
Now, I do want to point out, Sam, that one, we ought to thank everybody that's tuned this in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 Broadcasting. But Gary Godso has been after me all day to put up the thumbnail for tomorrow's Indy Open race at Long Beach. And so I've been responding to his queries in Spanish. That'll get him fired up.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely get him excited about having a conversation with you.
That's of course, absolutely. I'll do just about anything for the comedy of life, Sam. Meanwhile, pace truck comes off. Green flag is in the air.
Oh, big jump. Better jump for Kendall Paul and Greg Evans this time. And Kendall Paul's going to race Ryan O'Donohue down into the corner. And they'll be side by side and a little bit closer to the deuce this time.
Yes, he is. Matt Wagner is the interested observer in 4th. Evans is clean away in the lead. O'Donohue and Kendall Paul they're going to be left to fight for second.
Now that big battle for the second position, and this time we're going to take the white flag. And
Kendall Paul got big loose.
The next flag is going to end this.
Yes, next flag ends the race. Kendall Paul got big loose coming off of turn number 4. Ryan O'Donoghue has him pinned.
Oh, wow. One truck is hard into the wall in turn 1.
That would have been Colby.
Watching the finish of this race.
Yeah, that would have been Colby Pierce. Ryan O'Donoghue is going to be your winner unless something, or not Ryan O'Donoghue, Greg Evans is going to be your winner.
Greg Evans.
Unless something outrageous happens. Here they come off of turn number 4. Barney with the checkered flag in the air. Greg Evans is your winner. Kendall Paul is second. Ryan O'Donoghue comes home third. Jalen Story backs his truck across the start-finish line. That is going to net Jalen Story 15th. Jeremy Dunwoody is going to come home 14th. Is that going to be enough with James Hodgson having scored stage points in this one to keep him in the playoffs? So we are checkered.
Yeah, we're going to probably see a little discussion here after post-race. Chuck Sweeting is quickly out of the server tonight, but that contact with Colby Pierce and Jalen Story, that was intense. That was really intense. And Colby Pierce's truck was destroyed.
Understood. I'll tell you who's not destroyed. That's Greg Evans. Kendall Paul is second. Ryan O'Donoghue will round out the podium. Great run for Matt Wagner. He brings his truck home fourth. John Hutchins rounds out your top 5. David Dunwoody is 6th. Chuck Sweeting, Lewis Hayes, Chad Dulabon, and Keith Graham round out your top 10. Great recovery for Chad Dulabon. We even remarked during the race how absent he was. He brings it home 9th, Sam. Quiet but effective, right? Jim Duda is 11th. Billy Elwell 12th. Liam Anderson 13th. Jeremy Dunwoody is 14th, and we'll have to check the points on he and James Hodgson. Jalen Story 15th. Colby Pierce, Ken Holland, Justin Osterman, James Hodgson, and Justin Kirby are the remainder of the field.
Wow, Jalen Story really tore that truck up coming off of turn 4 there. Looked like there was a bit of a warp. He was warping very badly, but he got loose, and then Liam Anderson drove through him at that ending. And that will afford Jalen a 15th position for the finish of this race. Kendall Paul with a tremendous battle with Ryan O'Donoghue there at the end to take over that second spot. Chuck Sweeting racing all the way back from the back of the field after contact that Greg Evans had with him, and he's able to race into a 7th spot. Lewis Hayes in 8th spot. Great run by Lewis Hayes. And Matt Wagner is taking burnouts for himself simply because that's his best finish here in the AMA, and he's going to do burnouts just for a 4th place. Well deserved, Matt.
I was going to say sometimes you got to do that, right? We're going to bring in Ryan O'Donoghue. Ryan, you've got Murph and you've got Sam Crow in the P1 broadcasting booth. You led the first 83, and then did you get caught up behind a lap car? What allowed those guys to get you, or were your tires just a little bit burned up?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Caught behind a lap car, but that wasn't too bad. It was more of the right front. I did not do the shifting thing tonight, and that kind of didn't let the car rotate through the center corner, as well as some other guys. Yeah, that was pretty much the bugaboo there, was burning the right front off it.
You feel like another great finish. So Ryan, once again, your speed is phenomenal at these racetracks. But you were talking about shifting. How do you equate that might be a little bit more abusive to the truck?
It probably would have balanced the right sides out a little bit. My right rear was pretty happy there at the end of the first stage, but the right front was not. I think it kind of equaled out there the way everybody ran the first stage. But once we got into the second stage, I definitely pushed it a
Do you
little
feel like you
harder.
drove it a little different in the second stage? Because it looked like you were getting a little bit more tail happy there, racing harder with Evans and Sweeting. Did you feel like you were just over driving X a little bit more in that particular instance?
Yeah, that was kind of the plan, was to put the foot on the floor a little heavier off the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Try and make it looser that way, wear the right
Mm-hmm.
rear, instead of I tried shifting one corner, and yeah, that didn't go well.
Yeah, no, I'm not great at shifting at this track in these trucks either.
I'm not great at any track in any truck, so your skill level has me in awe, Ryan. Do want to thank you for joining in. Finish on the podium. You get the mic. Friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. The floor is yours.
Yeah, girlfriend standing right here. Mark, she just showed me the picture of you in the Sunoco sign. We got it framed, and it's going on the wall. So
Heck
Oh,
yeah, man. I've got a couple more for you. I did some barrel rolls. I did some barrel rolls the other day.
oh
Um,
boy.
so we'll get you those. Got to clear those through my good friend Andrew Wood first. But congratulations on a fine and solid run. You also are the points leader headed to the next round of the playoffs. So how about that?
Yeah, that was kind of the goal tonight, was just get through this one clean. I knew we had a pretty good buffer. Just can't do anything silly. Just want to get to Phoenix and race our championship. But yeah, Mass Surgical Supply. This is my home track. I'm up in New York now, but I grew up going to this racetrack every year, and I love this one. But everybody else, Maxima, Heatwave, AMA, Kendall, all the admins, Archway Industrial Coatings for this series sponsor, Black Magic Studios, Trak Racer, Rogue Energy, AdminBoxx. You guys up in the booth, P1 Broadcasting puts on a hell of a show. We'll watch this one back. Hope everybody enjoyed watching.
Hey, we
well,
enjoy
Ryan,
watching.
we're looking forward to see what you do in the playoffs, man. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. That is Ryan O'Donohue. We'll get him out of here, and we'll bring in Kendall Paul. And Kendall, a very quiet but effective second place tonight. It wasn't as quiet, I think, as you hoped it would be. You had to do a lot of. You were in a scrum much of the evening with Ryan O'Donohue. You got to race around Billy Elwell quite a bit. In the end, though, you bring it home second. Do you think you had anything for Greg, or was it just a matter of continuing to finish with what the track gave you?
I think we had something for Gray because we were able to pass him back in stage one. That's my biggest piece of evidence to myself, but I think we could, if we had the time and had the laps to get around Greg, I think we could have got it at the end, but we just got stuck behind some slower traffic and everything, and fighting for the playoffs and that sort of stuff. So just didn't really have the time. I was really hoping for that last stint to go green because I felt like I was just shaving off the hundredths and tenths by little, by lap, and we were catching them there for a while. So I would like to see how that would have ran out. It went green because I think we just again had a long distance truck, didn't have much for the short run speed. Once we can get our magical line going here, the magic mile, it really benefited us, and I feel like I don't know if we were the fastest truck, but it felt like we were the fastest truck out there on the racetrack on consistency and speed.
Well, that was evident, Kendall. I was watching the lap times, and you again another great finish for you tonight, and a good showing. And I agree with you. You were showing a lot of potential to be able to give that deuce a fit by the end of the race. But give us a little insight about what Ryan was actually talking about shifting. Were you one of those drivers that were shifting in the race?
At the beginning, I didn't, but I practiced with shifting, and we were kind of having that debate in the team with James and John about shifting, that sort of stuff. And originally, I kind of thought maybe shifting would have been tearing up the tires a little bit more. But I think honestly, I think it tore up the tires to not shift because you got that little bit more rotation in the corners. You weren't so dependent on the brake and the gas to make that rotation for you. So I think shifting really helped out throughout the race, and I picked it right back up. Lap 6 or 7 in the race. I'm like, I can't do this no shifting stuff. I got to go back to what I know and get that rotation and that sort of stuff.
Well, it's another fantastic showing tonight, and we're looking forward to seeing what you can do for the remainder of the year.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Kendall. As always, you get on the podium, you get the mic. Friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs. The floor is yours.
Yeah, like I always do, first and foremost, Archway Industrial Coatings. Those guys are fabulous to work with the league and that sort of stuff. They've really helped us out where we are today, and they're going to continue to partner with us next year. And so that's a really big thanks to them, and everything, all that you see today, like I said, would not be possible without them. So I can't thank them enough. I've got to thank Sean Mott and Jason Southern for their contributions as well to the league. They've been helping us out a lot too. And then all the other sponsors for the league, Black Lantern Studios, AdminBoxx, Trak Race, Rogue Energy, all those people put in some sort of work in or contributions to the league. So I got to thank them as well. Got to thank everybody at the team and everything. Good running for John. Got to shout out John tonight. A top 5 for him. That's some ways it's, I don't know if it's bad to say or good to say or it's just my personality, but I love seeing other people on the team do better, and I kind of get out of that hole of struggling and start running consistently and start running in the top 5. So that's been really cool to see with John these last couple of weeks. And then everybody else at the team, Dunwoody, Colby, and Justin. Gotta thank you guys up here in the booth, making the show look awesome and everything. Something to watch every week. Gotta thank friends, family. If they're watching, hello. Thank you for watching and that sort of thing. And just gotta give also a shout out to the Kirk family. He was a mentor to me, so I felt like it was important to me to put his name on the passenger side door rail to honor him properly tonight. So that was cool to get that up to second, and just wish we had a little bit more time to see if we could have had something for Greg.
Agreed. Now, Kendall, I do have one more question for you before you go.
Yeah.
I was just a little curious, and a lot of folks don't know that you've made a big move here recently, and it looks like your acclimation to the move is it looks like it's working for you. Do you feel like you're going to be able to continue to stay this comfortable moving forward through the playoffs?
I think so. I've got pretty much everything figured out and adjusted to where I needed. It was a little bit of a shaky start towards the beginning, but really I've gotten used to it over the last, it's been almost a month now. It's crazy to think moving here to Norman, Oklahoma for college. So used to the rig, got a nice chair. The only thing I wish it was a little bit cooler in here. It's a little hot with being the door being closed and that sort of stuff. But fans on full blast all day long.
Nice.
There you go. Well, good luck good luck at school, Kendall. As always, studies come first. Get out of here. Go to the library. We'll catch you later.
You guys have a good night.
Yep.
Good
That
night.
is student Kendall Paul, who runs second to the old grizzled veteran. That would be Greg Evans. Greg, I never would have thought that I would be talking to you tonight in Victory Lane at a race in which you entered in the Sim Magic Deuce. Congratulations. Talk to us about your day, man.
I mean, the first lap was adventurous. Yeah.
You ended that one backwards, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. The tires were not ready for the apron by any means, and it just got down there and hooked. I mean, after that, I mean, we just tried to methodically work our way up through there. Try to stay in the top, 3 or 4 on those runs, and I have to apologize. I think it's a 75. I think he took 2 tires, and whenever we went down into turn 1, I knew he was going to be a little bit slower, but I looked back at Ryan to see where he was going to be, to see if I could cut underneath him. And by the time I looked back up, he had slid up in front of me, and I just got the back of him. That was 100% my fault there. But like I said, I know these guys are racing for points, and my goal was to not come in here and get into anybody. But unfortunately, that's what happened. But yeah, it was 100% my fault there.
Well, Greg, knowing you and just knowing the history that you have in the sport and in the hobby, I know that you'll reach out to Chuck in any way that you can. It's another fantastic run. Did you plan on trying to start in the back and work your way up? I know you weren't planning on that stealth spin at the beginning of the race, but was it your intention all along to see just how you can manage the race working from the back?
Yeah, there was a lot of guys I didn't know in here, and like I said, I knew they were getting kind of close to the end of the point season, so I really just wanted to start in the back and work my way up, and if we got in a wreck, we got in a wreck. Yeah, and the lap one thing was not planned by any means. It did get my tires hot really quick though, but
I was
yeah,
going to say maybe that was an advantage, right?
Yeah.
yeah, I mean we worked our way up to like third or fourth, and then Kendall was shifting. I think almost everybody was shifting the whole race, but I tried it a few times, but I felt better in fourth gear, just getting the runs. Feel like I wasn't burning my right rear up. So yeah, it was just it was fun coming from the back. I think you learn a lot coming from the back, and yeah, it was a heck of a race. Me and Ryan, man, he was giving it everything he had. He was diving it. I was diving it deep, and then it's like every turn he was diving it deeper. I was like, dude, I don't think I can go deeper. So, man, it was a lot of fun.
Well, we certainly had fun watching you, Greg. Congratulations on yet another win in the AMA. You know the drill, man. Friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I got to thank Sim Magic Sim Labs, Sim Shop, Freightliner. Thank you guys again for broadcasting it. It's good to see a pretty good field in the truck series. Hopefully, we can kind of duplicate that on Thursday nights as well. And like I said, it was a lot of fun racing these guys. And apologize to 75 again. I know that they're racing for points, and my goal was to not come in here and cause any issues, but that was 100% my fault, and I have to own up to it. So.
No worries. And I'm sure he understands. You're a stand-up guy, Greg, and we thank you very much. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. That is Greg Evans. He is going to be your winner tonight. And Sam, we do have the unofficial points ready. We do. So, moving on to the round of 8, Ryan O'Donohue plus 42 over Kendale Paul. Chuck Sweeting drops to 44 back in third. Chad Dulabon, 48 markers in arrears in fourth. Chad Winstead advances despite not being present, 76 points off of Ryan O'Donohue. 86 down, David Dunwoody. 88 down, Justin Osterman. Jeremy Dunwoody is going to get that 8th spot, 106 points back. James Hodgson, 2 points short.
2 points. 2 points.
2 points. I knew it would be close because of the stage points. That was pretty close. And so
it's almost salt in the wound, that you would be knocked out of an event. So, the way that James Hodgson was, the way his night ended, the way that it did with the stealth spin and damage to the motor, but then to know now that you lost that last critical spot by 2 points.
100%. Just to let everybody know, we are off next week in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. The series will return for the round of 8. That begins October the 3rd at for the Queen City 250 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. As for P1, we've got a busy week upcoming. Tomorrow we're going to have the IndyCar Open top split. That was delayed from Monday due to the changeover. There was no top split Monday night, so we're going to run what's called the Euro SOF. That's going to take place tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard. Sunday night, it's the Dark Horse DW12 race from New Hampshire. That's going to be at 8 o'clock. Monday night, it's a triple header. We're going to kick that off at 8 o'clock with the Indy Open Series from Texas. We're going to follow that up with the Onyx Racing League at 9:05 and the IndyCar, the Indy Next Series will be on just shortly thereafter. So a triple header Monday. There's a double header on Tuesday. It's the Indy Oval Series. The flagship broadcast will happen at 8:15. And then immediately following that, it'll be the Indy Next Series. On Wednesday, we've got the Horizon IndyCar League. That happens, the Horizon IndyCar Series. That happens at 8. And then Thursday, Sam and I will be right back here for the AMA Xfinity Series at Kansas. 200 laps, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. We do want to thank everybody who joined us tonight. We had a wonderful crowd in attendance. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, and subscribe to P1. Be notified of all future broadcasts. But we also really want to thank the people that make this possible. And it's not just the drivers and the fans. It's the police, the firemen, the military, the EMTs that drive the ambulance, and the nurses that take care of you when they get you there. Sam, we thank him from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes, thank you.
We will see you Tuesday or Thursday.